The recipe said, set the oven to 180 degrees. Now I can't open it as the door faces the wall. I regret rubbing ketchup in my eyes, but that's hindsight for you. I prefer to have my milk churned. It's butter that way. I made a playlist for hiking. It has music from Peanuts, The Cranberries, and Eminem. I call it my trail mix. Somebody just threw a jar of mayonnaise at me. I was like, what the hell, man? I said to the doctor, every time I eat birthday cake, I get heartburn. She told me to take the candles off first in future. I started my new job at the pasta factory last week. It's been going well for the most part, just a few silly mistakes. My wife just threw away my favorite herb. She's such a time waster. My wallet is like an onion. When I open it, it makes me cry. To ride a horse or not to ride a horse? That is equestrian. I bought a guitar the other day, but it doesn't work. Guess I should have known when the seller said no strings attached. Have you ever seen a picture of Mount Rushmore before it was carved? Its beauty was unprecedented. I bought a new pair of gloves today, but they're both lefts, which on the one hand is great, but on the other hand, it's just not right. I just bought myself a new blindfold. I can't see myself wearing it. I hate when my wife gets mad at me for being lazy. It's not like I did anything. My wife asked me, "Are you sometimes surprised as to how little people change?" I said, "Actually, the process is the same, apart from their tiny clothes." There's something that I don't like about do not touch signs. I just can't put my finger on it. I throw up whenever I hear a joke. It's a gag reflex.
Billy Bob wanted a job as a signalman on the railways. He was told to meet the inspector at the signal box. The inspector asked, "What would you do if you realized that two trains were heading for each other on the same track?" Billy Bob replied, "I would switch the points for one of the trains." "What if the lever broke?" asked the inspector. "Then I'd dash down out of the signal box," said Billy Bob. "And I'd use the manual lever over there." "What if that had been struck by lightning?" "Then," Billy Bob continued, "I'd run back into the signal box and phone the next signal box." "What if the phone was busy?" "Well, in that case," persevered Billy Bob, "I'd rush down out of the box and use the public emergency phone at the level crossing up there." "What if that was vandalized?" "Oh, well, then I'd run into town and go get my Uncle Lester." This puzzled the inspector, so he asked, "Why would you do that?" Billy Bob answered, "Well, Uncle Lester ain't never seen a train wreck." Do they allow loud laughing in Hawaii, or just a low ha? Never blame someone else for the road you are on. That is your own asphalt. My friends and I have started a band and called it Books, so no one can judge us by our covers. A bossy man goes into a bar. He orders everyone around. I don't usually brag about going to expensive places, but I just left the gas station. Shouldn't a Hershey bar with nuts in it be called a him-he? Praying mantises don't all follow the same religion. They're insects. I have started carrying a piece of stone with me to throw at people who sing Christmas songs before Thanksgiving. It's my Jingle Bell Rock. I changed all my passwords to Kenny. Now all I have are Kenny logins. I am writing a book about all the things I should be doing in my life. It's an ought-to biography. I'm proud of my job as a podium salesman. It's a product I can stand behind. Pre means before, post means after. To use both prefixes together would be preposterous. It's been months since I bought the book How to Scam People Online. It still hasn't arrived yet. I've just invented the first thought-controlled air freshener. It makes sense when you think about it. Tablets were replaced by scrolls. Scrolls were replaced by books. Now we scroll through books on tablets. I have a fear of speed bumps, but I am slowly getting over it. A wizard asked me to proofread one of his scrolls last week. Actually, it was more of a spell check. Finally, my winter fat has gone. Now I have spring rolls. I haven't sold a single copy of my autobiography. That's the story of my life. I went to a diner with a couple I know last night and they started arguing. Now, normally I'm not one to take sides, but they were so distracted by yelling at each other that I stole her fries and his coleslaw. Tequila may not fix your life, but it's worth a shot. My friend said I wouldn't be able to name 2 structures that hold water. I was like, well, damn.
I failed my calculus exam because I was seated between 2 identical twins. It was hard to differentiate between them. English puns make me feel numb, but math puns make me feel number. How do Vikings send secret messages? Norse code. My book on clocks finally arrived. It's about time! I somehow managed to make it through high school math while only being able to remember even numbers. What are the odds? Are people born with a photographic memory, or does it take time to develop? I used to be addicted to time travel, but that's all in the past now. What color is the wind? Blue. What should you do if you are addicted to seaweed? Sea kelp. What has 3 letters and starts with gas? A car.
What do you call a fast escalator? An escasooner. Why does the Grinch hate knock-knock jokes? Because it's always who's there. What do you call the security in a Samsung store? Guardians of the Galaxy. What's small, red, and whispers? A horseradish. What's it called when you kill chickpeas? Homicide. If slow old men use walking sticks, what do fast old men use? Hurricanes. What starts with an O and ends with N-I-O-N-S and sometimes makes you cry? Opinions. What do you call a person missing 75% of their spine? A quarterback. Why was the king only 12 inches tall? Because he was a ruler. Hi, my name is Jeff, and I'm an alcoholic. Sir, this is AAA, not AA. I know, I'm trying to explain why my car is in the lake. When I was at the grocery store, I asked an employee where the cereal was, and he said, "I'll see," and walked off. 5 minutes later, I asked another employee about the cereal, and he too said, "I'll see," and walked off. I eventually found it myself. It was an I'll see. A software tester walks into a bar, runs into a bar, crawls into a bar, dances into a bar, flies into a bar, jumps into a bar, and orders a beer, 2 beers, 0 beers, 99,999,999 beers, a lizard in a beer glass, -1 beer, QWERTY-OP beers. Testing complete. A real customer walks into the bar and asks where the bathroom is. The bar goes up in flames. At the marketplace, a seller advertises 1 salad for $3, 3 salads for $10. A customer passing by stops and speaks with the seller. "That's not right. What do you mean?" "Well, that's not an offer. 3 salads cost $9. "No, sir. It says here that 3 salads cost $10. "I know, but if I buy 1 salad, how much do I pay? $3. And if I buy 2, $6. "Yes, because 3 plus 3 equals 6. "Now what about 3 plus 3 plus 3? That makes 9. So 3 salads cost $9. "No, sir, they cost $10. It's written just over there on that board. The client can't fathom such stubbornness in another human being and proceeds to prove his point to the seller. "Here, let me buy a salad. That will be $3, sir. Now I'd like 1 more salad. That will be $3 again, sir. Finally, let me buy 1 last salad. That will also be $3, sir. How much did I pay you those salads? $3 plus $3 plus $3. You paid $9. See? 3 salads are worth $9, not $10. You won't sell many salads if you do it this way. Yes, sir. I've sold almost all my stock to people like you wanting to prove they're smarter than me by buying 3 salads they don't need just to make sure they are superior. Man, this salad salesman is really playing the long game, isn't he? How does music say goodbye? Adios! I heard they voted to remove daylight saving time. I won't lose any sleep over it. How much does an influencer weigh? An Instagram. My buddy just got a job in marketing with Kellogg's cereals. I guess you could say his job is raising brand awareness. What's the difference between a vegan and a computer programmer? One is disgusted by a rack of lamb, and the other is disgusted by a lack of RAM. What do you call a detective who just solves cases accidentally? Sherlock Holmes. I recently joined a support group for people who talk a lot. We call ourselves On and On and On. A man walks into a bar and says, "I'm here to drink my troubles away." "Well, you've come to the right place," says the bartender. "What'll it be?" The man replies, "1 water, please." "Just a water?" "Yeah, I have kidney stones." I was abducted by aliens. They made me wash my hands, clean my room, and eat my vegetables. Turns out I was on the mothership. 2 robbers are robbing a liquor store. Then one robber grabs a bottle and asks the other robber, "Is this whiskey?" The other robber says, "Yeah, but not as whiskey as robbing a bank."
Has anyone else's gardening skills improved during this quarantine like mine have? I planted myself on the sofa at the start of April and I've grown bigger ever since. My massage therapist got fired. I guess she rubbed too many people the wrong way. A guy just finishes his LASIK surgery and his surgeon leads him in his office to discuss the surgery. The surgeon asks if he wants the good news or bad news first. The man excitedly replies, "I'll take the good news first." The surgeon tells him, "Well, you're about to get a new dog." What did the designers of Darth Vader's costume model it on? Mannequin Skywalker. I'm making a new documentary on how to fly a plane. We're currently filming the pilot. I've just opened an Elvis Presley themed steakhouse. It's aimed at people who love meat tender. Why did I want to become an editor? Well, to make a long story short, I hate telling people I'm a taxidermist. When they ask, "So, what do you do for a living?" I just say, "Oh, you know, stuff." Not to brag, but I have psychic powers. For example, right now you're thinking, "It's psychic, you idiot." With a P. That's how you spell psychic. See, I read your mind.
Putin has boasted that Russia is planning to build a base on the moon. The idea is that astronauts will live there permanently. When they were asked if they really wanted to spend the rest of their lives in a barren, lifeless, empty landscape, the Russians said, "No, that's why we want to go to the moon." Dave walks into a magic shop. He walks up to the man at the counter and asks, "What magic can you do?" The man at the counter replies, "Voodoo, magic reversal, time travel," and Dave interrupts him and says, "Wait, go back." Dave walks into a magic shop and the man at the counter says to him, "That'll be $30.75. A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead all work at the same office for a female boss who always goes home early. "Hey girls," says the brunette, "let's go home early tomorrow. She'll never know." So the next day, they all leave right after the boss does. The brunette gets some extra gardening done, the redhead goes to a bar, and the blonde goes home to find her husband in bed with the female boss. She quietly sneaks out of the house and returns at her normal time. Later that day, "That was fun," says the brunette. "We should do it again sometime," says the redhead. No way, says the blonde. I almost got caught. What's the difference between an actor and a burnt rodent? One's Chris Pratt, and the other is a crisp rat. What do you call a cowardly dog? A golden retriever. What do you call a dad who studied dad jokes? A scientist. My girlfriend poked me in the eyes, so I stopped seeing her for a while. Did you know Jar Jar Binks has a brother who is a famous author? George Orwell. Did you hear about the big Lego sale? People were lined up for blocks. How do kleptomaniacs like their eggs cooked? Poached. My girlfriend came to me with a balloon that said, "Will you marry me?" So I popped the question. Anyone can use my French Revolution joke. It's royalty free. A man goes to a funeral and asks the widow, "Mind if I say a word?" She says, "Please do." The man clears his throat and says, "Bargain." The widow replies, "Thanks, that means a great deal." I said to my son, "I need a battery so I can tell the time." He asked, "Is it 4 o'clock?" I answered, "I don't know. That's why I need the battery."
My son asked me what procrastinate means. I said, "I'll tell you later." I think I still need to give him that talk about procrastination.
My son told me, "The car manual says that I shouldn't turn up the stereo to full volume." I said, "That's sound advice."
My wife claims that a man in camouflage is really sexy. I just don't see it. I mean, literally. I can't see what she sees in camouflage.
My wife says the salads I make tend to be a bit on the dry side. It's definitely something that needs addressing.
It's really hard to say what my wife does for a living. She sells seashells on the seashore. I mean, it's really hard if you say it 6 times fast.
I'm in a very serious relationship with my girlfriend. Haven't laughed in 2 years. That's how serious it is. My ex-girlfriend just told me she wants us to get back together again. Man, I sure am lucky. I mean, first I win the lottery, and now this.
If I have twin daughters, I'll name one Kate, and I'll name the other Duplicate, because I'm original.
Dad jokes are important. They are a big part of pop culture. These are all bad jokes by Jeff, so they're not your ordinary puns or jokes, so get ready to cringe. A Canadian visits America and gets held at gunpoint by a stranger. The stranger says, "Give me all your money and I'll let you live." The Canadian replies gleefully, "Oh, you must be what they call a doctor." My nerdy friend just got a PhD on the history of palindromes. We now call him Dr. Awkward. Look at that, it really spells the same forwards and backwards. I'm sick and tired of this everybody wins mentality kids have these days. Seriously, they never exercise, lie in bed 12 hours a day, and sit down more often than they stand up, and they still get a trophy. I mean, atrophy, but a trophy. An American tourist in Australia got hit by a car. He woke up in a hospital with a doctor standing over him. He asked the doctor, "Did I come here to die?" The doctor replied, "Nah, mate, you came here yesterday." A man walks into a bar and asks the bartender, "If I show you a really good trick, will you give me a free drink?" The bartender considers it, then agrees. The man reaches into his pocket and pulls out a tiny rat. He reaches into his other pocket and pulls out a tiny piano. The rat stretches, cracks his knuckles, and proceeds to play the blues. After the man finished his drink, he asked the bartender, "If I show you an even better trick, will you give me free drinks for the rest of the night?" The bartender thinks that nothing could possibly top the first trick, so he agrees. The man reaches into another pocket and pulls out a small bullfrog, who begins to sing along with the rat's music. While the man is enjoying his beverages, a stranger confronts him and offers him $100,000 for the bullfrog. "Sorry," the man replies, "he's not for sale." The stranger increases the offer to $250,000 cash up front. No, he insists, he's not for sale. The stranger again increases the offer, this time to $500,000 cash. The man finally agrees and turns the frog over to the stranger in exchange for the money. "Are you insane?" the bartender demanded. "That frog could have been worth millions to you, and you let him go for a mere $500,000? "Don't worry about it," the man answered. "The frog was really nothing special. You see, the rat's a ventriloquist." Wah, wah, wah. My mom used to feed me alphabet soup when I was a kid. She insisted on me telling everyone that I loved it. I didn't really. She was just putting words in my mouth. Why is Billy Joel's laundry still wet? He didn't start the dryer. I signed up for Binary 101, but failed it miserably. I had no idea it was a level 5 course. I finally figured out what's wrong with my brain. On the left side, there is nothing right. On the right side, there is nothing left. What's a demon's favorite handwriting style? Cursive. I just noticed the minus button is missing from my calculator. I guess it won't make any difference. What's the difference between a dog and a marine biologist? One wags a tail, and the other tags a whale. What do you call a $1,000 door? A grand entrance. Guess I walked right into that one. The female janitor at my building asked if I would chill and smoke some weed with her. I said, "No, I can't deal with high-maintenance women." My wife tripped and dropped the basket of clothes she had just ironed. I watched it all unfold. What are atheists called in India? Non-believers. My wife wanted to go on vacation, but I wanted a staycation. So we compromised and had an altercation. Up next, how to sound good in a band. Stay tuned! What do you call two octopuses who look the same? Identical. While at the grocery store, be careful not to knock over the cabbage display. Heads will roll. I think my house is haunted by the ghost of a chicken. I may have a poultrygeist. Having a little nap on the sofa before taking myself up to bed for my main sleep. I call that a snores d'oeuvre, a napetizer. I finally realized why trees don't have teeth. Turns out they're all bark and no bite. A man goes for a walk in the park. On his walk, he sees two men sat on a park bench and looking very down. "What's wrong?" he asks them. One of the men looks up at the man and lets out a long sigh. "Take a seat and I'll tell you." Curious, he sits down next to the two men. "The paint's wet," the man says. During chemistry class, I learned that sulfur dioxide should never be poured into a metal container. It's just an oxidant waiting to happen. My grandma always used to say, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." I don't know if that's true or just one of Granny Smith's. Doctor, so you're telling me that you have a problem hearing with one of your ears. Are you sure? Me, yes, I'm definite. What branch of the military do horses join? The Navy. This morning, I saw a guy dragging a clam on a leash, and I thought, it must be hard to walk with a pulled muscle. If there's a king-size mattress and a queen-size mattress, where does the prince sleep? The air mattress. Some jerk glued every card in my deck together, so now it's just a block of cardboard. I'm having trouble dealing with it. Some people say rolling for stats in D&D is old-fashioned and unforgiving, but I think it builds character. What's big and white and will kill you if it falls out a tree? A freezer. A blonde gets a job as a physical education teacher of 16-year-olds. She notices a boy at the end of the field standing alone, while all the other kids are running around having fun kicking a ball. She takes pity on him and decides to speak to him. "You okay?" she says. "Yes," he says. "You can go and play with the other kids, you know," she says. "No, it's probably best I stay here," he says. "Why is that, sweetie?" says the blonde. The boy looks at her incredulously and says, "Because I'm the goalie." An old farmer got up in the middle of the night to use the toilet. As he was heading back to bed, he looked out the window and saw the lights on in his shed. A closer inspection revealed men loading his tools and farm machinery into their truck. He rushes to the phone and calls 000, or 911. "I need the police! There are some guys clearing out my shed!" "Okay, sir, we have dispatched officers. They should be there in about an hour." "An hour? But they'll be long gone by then!" "I'm sorry, sir, but there are no officers in your area." The farmer hangs up angrily, waits 10 minutes, and then calls 000 again. "Hi, it's me again. Don't worry about sending those cops. I've just shot the robbers." And he hangs up. Less than 10 minutes later, 3 cop cars and a helicopter arrive and the robbers are arrested. The sergeant goes up to the house and bangs on the door. The farmer opens it in his dressing gown and holding a cup of tea. "What's going on here? You said you shot the robbers." "You said there were no officers in my area." "Ha ha ha! Checkmate."